The removal of a head of a Chapter 9 institution is a first for the country. This process dates back to December 2019 when the DA tabled Mkhwebane's removal motion. The initial motion was later withdrawn and resubmitted in February 2020.
I think that it's very sad that the Office of the Public Protector has been marred in such controversy, and I think we need to fight as members of Parliament to restore its status as one of our top and biggest defenders of South Africa's constitution.
An independent panel of experts was appointed in November 2020 to probe a prima facie case against Mkhwebane. However, Mkhwebane challenged the inclusion of a judge on that panel. After a lengthy legal tussle, the Constitutional Court paved the way for the removal process in February 2022. It also guaranteed Mkhwebane legal representation. The inquiry's hearings began in July 2022.
What we're doing is an exercise to examine the fitness to hold office of the Public Protector.
Over 20 witnesses were called. Mkhwebane also called several witnesses in her defense, but it quickly became clear that there would be a legal tug-of-war between the committee and Mkhwebane. She made several demands, including that President Cyril Ramaphosa be called to testify, a demand that was rejected. In September 2022, Mkhwebane then applied for recusal of Janji and DAMP Kevin Mylem. She alleged he was biased and that Mylem was conflicted because his wife was the complainant who brought the charges against Mkhwebane.
We request that you return an outcome, you or whoever has to make that decision, return an outcome for the recusal of yourself and Honorable Mylem.
The recusal application was dismissed.
That the PP has failed to establish any grounds upon which it can be said that I'm biased.
I do not take instruction from Honourable Mazzoni in regard to this matter, and we do not discuss it in any detail whatsoever.
Mkhwebane's counsel and attorney later staged a walkout from the inquiry.
If they decide to withdraw, especially the attorney of record, then I'll have to find a way of finding an attorney.
The dismissal decision of the recusal application landed in the Western Cape High Court, but Mkhwebane lost the case. She launched an appeal in the Supreme Court of Appeal on the matter. Meanwhile, the inquiry was also not without drama. Some days, comments became a social media spectacle.
I'm senior to you in many ways, not just in age, but in many ways, you know it. So you have no right to abuse me, but fine, you've got the power now, you can exercise it, but you'll pay one day. Are you threatening me now? Yeah.
And of course, witnesses were also not spared robust questions.
For example, I don't agree that you are a CIA agent. I think that's ridiculous.
I disagree with you. You are elevating those things once again to this room and putting them on the record.
Well,
that is unprofessional, Advocate Mpofu. Shockingly. Shocking.
No, that's fine. Well, you can insult me as much as you like.
Totally shocking.
Mkhwebane maintained right through the inquiry that she is being persecuted.
There were several judgments ourselves as an office which we had to go through, where higher courts were criticizing the lower courts' judges. And there was no stage where those lower courts were then exposed or subjected to this particular process which I'm subjected to.
Which process is that?
The process of coming here and be told that I'm incompetent.
The inquiry also saw twists and turns with the latest being accusations of bribery against the chairperson, Qubutile Jantyi. Parliament's Ethics Committee, however, cleared Jantyi of any wrongdoing due to poor evidence. In the end, the inquiry found Mkhwebane guilty on the charges of misconduct and incompetence.
We have no doubt, we're very confident that even the planned or threatened review of this report, we welcome that. We think that whoever will do that, they're exercising their rights to do that, but we're very comfortable.
After a guilty verdict, it was up to the National Assembly to vote on Mkhwebane's removal. The House was considering for the first time the removal of a head of a Chapter 9 institution.
This process culminated in a report which shows incontrovertible evidence that Advocate Mkhwebane has misconducted herself and is incompetent.
7 political parties made declarations in support of Mkhwebane's removal.
Millions upon millions wasted by the Public Protector and her team on frivolous and irrelevant arguments and witnesses called, as well as the never-ending demand for postponements. In fact, Speaker, it all amounts to a staggering 160 million rand if you add all the cost orders and the legal costs. Money we won't get back.
Based on the evidence provided in the form of both verbal and written reports, it has given us shocking insights to see that suspended Public Protector Advocate Mkhwebane is guilty of misconduct for ignoring various findings and victimizing officials during her tenure.
However, another 6 political parties made declarations against Mkhwebane's removal. COPE leader Musiwa Lekota abstained from voting, while another COPE MP, Tebogo Luate, voted against the removal.
We therefore reject the report and we reject the political witch hunt initiated by the DA and supported by the ANC alliance to punish Advocate Mkhwebane in order to protect Mr. Ramaphosa. We reiterate our stance as the EFF that we reserve our right to take this report and the illegal adoption of this report by this Parliament on judicial review.
The UDM therefore categorically disagree with any course of action that sees Advocate Mkhwebane's departure from office.
The process to determine the fitness of the Public Protector was filled with bias against Advocate Mkhwebane. It is a fact that Advocate Mkhwebane from the onset had to fight up until the level of the Constitutional Court for legal representation in the inquiry.
In the end, Mkhwebane's removal was adopted by the House after the required threshold of votes was exceeded. 318 MPs voted for her removal, 51 more than the required 267 votes to make it a 2/3 majority vote. 2 months later, Mkhwebane was back in Parliament, this time being sworn in as an EFF MP. Bulelani Phillp, SABC News, Parliament.